Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Wardrobe provided by Bahari Bahamas. Visit shopbahari.com. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. Always a pleasure to be in your company. Thank you so much for joining us on this TGIF. And yeah, even though today is Friday the 13th, for all of you superstitious people out there, it's still a good day. And this is still a day that the Lord has made. And I don't know about you, but I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. So welcome to this TGIF show, open line show. You know, every Friday here at Global Paradigm Shift, we do an open line show. Thank you, Marisha. Every Friday. And we give you an opportunity to say what's on your mind, get it off your chest, tell us how you feel about the week that was. And today is going to be no different. We are going to talk about the big stories of the past week. And, you obviously can't get into everything because you only have a certain amount of time. But even though I have pulled some clips, this is all about you and what you want to talk about today. So if you want to talk about something that I didn't pull a clip for, feel free to reach out and be a part of the show. The telephone number to call is 828-3543. 828-3543 is the number to call. And the text line is 828-2543. 828-2543 is the text line. So every Friday, it's all about you. So, let's hear from you. Let's hear what you want to talk about, that caught your attention, whether it be here at home in the 242 or abroad. Let's talk about it. All right. So again, the number to call, 828-3543. 828-3543 is the number to call. And our text line is 828-2543 is the text line. 828-2543. Just want to make sure the text line is not dead. I think it's dead. So anyway, we'll get that charged. All right. So quite a bit to talk about that went down this past week, including some of the things that I pulled clips on. And the number one thing I pulled a clip on, and you may agree or disagree that this is the number one story, but I think it speaks to what is certainly a major problem in the Bahamas, and that is that of corruption or perceived corruption. You may recall that our prime minister and the reigning, that sounds like a kingdom, and the governing Free National Movement Party, they campaigned on transparency they campaigned on that. And our very own prime minister, early in, after he was elected, he went and told the international community that the Bahamas is a corrupt place. And yet we saw just recently where the United States released a report that suggested that our corruption problems did not die when the Free National Movement came into power. And now we see where our very own Auditor General has released a report revealing lack of transparency as it relates to expenditures surrounding COVID-19, the coronavirus pandemic. And I find this quite fascinating. And I always use as a yardstick, because, we are a very polarized nation. We are very divided when it comes to politics. We're just a bunch of gang members wearing different colors, according to what your party colors are. Romel says, that's your real hair, Michelle Malcolm. If it real, because it's on my head. Is it my hair? I paid for every strand. So hopefully that answers your question. We had, this party come to power on promise of transparency and accountability. And now we have where our Auditor General is saying that, when it comes to expenditure, the millions of dollars that were spent during the pandemic, transparency is a little lacking. Let's go to clip number 1. And this, of course, is courtesy of Eyewitness News.
An Auditor General's report revealing that the government failed to provide ownership details on all companies awarded COVID-19 related contracts. According to the report tabled yesterday, the government only provided a list of companies that received payments for the delivery of goods and services, but did not name the companies. This omission sparking concern that the government finds itself falling short of full transparency, a key campaign promise the Free National Movement pushed before being elected to office.
Despite the content of that audit, former Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands says everything doesn't always appear as it seems.
Does not mean that there has been an attempt to hide that information. It may simply be that it's not recorded in the records.
The F&M denying that they've had an unscrupulous hand in managing proceeds from last June's emergency $250 million IMF loan that kept the country and government afloat during the pandemic's peak. Dr. Sands admitting that they've kept poor records.
There's been no subterfuge, no sleight of hand, no skullduggery. There may be less than ideal record keeping. But let's go back to the early days of the pandemic. It was wild. And trying to source PPEs, trying to source lab reagents, trying to source swabs, trying to make sure that the country was prepared to deal with the scourge of what was then called novel coronavirus. You literally had to be moving, I don't want to say 24/7, but pretty much all day. And if some I's were not dotted and some T's were not crossed, it certainly wasn't because you were trying to hide something.
Eyewitness News understands that the government is in non-compliance with its commitment to the IMF in return for receiving the multi-million-dollar loan, as a letter submitted by the Bahamas to the IMF promised that the Minnis administration would publish procurement contracts of crisis mitigation spending, including beneficial ownership information of companies awarded procurement contracts, and report quarterly on COVID-19 mitigation spending. The audit report also referenced an IMF quote which says, "Knowing who ultimately owns companies is a key piece of data that allows governments and citizens to check that money is going where it intended." And Organization for Responsible Governance Director Matt Aubrey couldn't agree more.
I think the other thing that's going to be notable is that the Bahamas is a small country. There is no way that there won't be some interrelationship interconnectedness. Family names are going to be the same as family names. Those in power and those doing business with government may very well have direct connections. The importance is understanding what those relationships are so that we can make steps to ensure that when government procurement happens, when government expenditure happens, it's done so in the most effective and efficient way.
The Register of Beneficial Ownership Act does not force government to disclose beneficial ownership information in relation to the tendering process, while the Data Protection Act is another barrier to its release. Nevertheless, the Auditor General recommended that addressing the beneficial ownership disclosure enhances good governance. DNA leader Arinthia Komolafe calling on the government to reveal who the beneficiaries of those companies are.
The consent of the entities involved should have been obtained, and at a minimum, the details ought to have been provided to the Office of the Auditor General.
This report comes on the heels of a U.S. investment climate report revealing vulnerability to corruption remains a major challenge for the Bahamian government, adding that the government has laws to combat corruption among public officials, but they have been inconsistently applied. Eyewitness News tried to get the nation's leader to respond to these pressing matters. However, he shied away.
That was released yesterday.
You know, this reporter should know by now that these people don't like to answer questions. So, I mean, you know, you're supposed to ask anyhow. That's the job of a journalist. But not surprising that the competent authority didn't take the time to stop and answer that question. Now, you know, this raises some serious concerns for me because I always use this as a measuring stick. And Carl, I come at you right now. I always use this as a measuring stick because I know we're very polarized, right? We a bunch of gang members wearing our colors. But I want you to ask yourself this question. If this was done by the other gang, not your gang now, the other gang, would you be defending them? Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good morning, Michelle. How are you doing this morning?
Great. How are you today?
I'm awesome. I'm fully recovered.
Good.
I have to agree with you completely. And yes, the father should have known better. It's a tough question, you know, that the ministers would answer it. I think even get offensive based on the depth of the question. Now, what I laughed at just now when you played the clip, Bruin Sands' response. It was crazy last year.
Listen, man. Listen.
I didn't thought all eyes across.
I was like, these people really think we stupid.
When you said that, I said, you know what, these people think we a bunch of conks in this country. You know?
Sick dread.
I mean, for him to have the audacity to open his mouth and say those words
with a straight face,
you know, it is as if they really, really don't rate us in any which way, shape, or form.
And then the Attorney General can come back behind him and pretty much say, well, these people deserve their privacy, you know, and we could amend the law. So this, is it about privacy or is it about, well, we just didn't cross all our T's and dot all our I's? Which is it? You see,
you know,
go ahead, Carl.
You know, boy, look here, trust me. It'll get you exasperated to think about it too long. You know, our money being sourced out to these business entities, our money paying them for the contractor. We don't know who we paying. Who we paying? I mean, like this government. I mean, they leaps and bounds ahead of the form of PLP.
Let me ask you something. If you were running a company and you gave them a certain amount of money to manage during a crisis, and then at the end of the day, when you do an audit, you realize the money gone, but there ain't no indication of where it gone. And when you ask them where the money gone, well, you know, we you know, it was like a kind of chaotic, and we didn't have the time to cross our T's and dot our
I's.
What you can do? What you can do with them people?
I'll poke them right in the eye. That's the eye right there.
You know, you firing them on the spot.
Put them in court.
I'm putting them in court for thieving. Now, I ain't saying these people teeth it. I'm
Of
just
course
saying,
not. Of course not. Of
I'm
course
just
not. Of course
saying
not.
that if this was a private company that you own,
Yes.
and the people you
Legal,
put responsible for this money come back and
legal
tell
steps have
you
been taken. Yeah.
with this audited report without saying where the money gets spent. Millions of, we ain't talking only $5 now. We talking millions of dollars. And you can't tell me where it gone because you ain't crossed your T's and dot your I's. You just could cross them T's and dot them I's someplace else.
I guarantee you.
In the word of Trump, you're fired.
Boy, you know what? This Bahama land, boy, is one sweet plantation, boy. Oh, my goodness. Giving us their money, man. Giving us their money. Oh, this boy, look here, let me show you something. There's a whole saying, look here. If you see a horse in no saddle, you better try high, throw the saddle in back, quick fast enough before someone else does. They threw the saddle so fast enough, we didn't even know what was going on. You know, I think about it. This place so wealthy and so rich. I mean, we are allowing politician after politician, yellow with red, card team, pass the baton, they carry our money every time. We watch it happen. We watch it happen. We're still able to pay our bills successfully. This country is so blessed, Michelle. There's no name for it. If you sit back and cross your leg and look at our being reality, man, it's really sad, you know. It's really sad, you know. It's so sad. And now I understand what's happening now. Customs, American customs searching them down when they cross the border. So people go even there with, leaving Nassau with 4 and 5 bags, that leave the Bahamas and never come back. This is crazy, man. This is beyond borderline narcissism and insanity, man. This is ridiculous. Man. Yeah. We have our travel visa money, which is completely unnecessary, sitting up in the bank of the Bahamas, $20-some million supposed to be in the consolidated account. Our money, our tax dollars, sitting up in a private account right now. This is insanity. And these same complacent dealers will vote the PLP or the FNM right back in, you know.
You know, I remember hearing Marlon Johnson justify that by saying that, you know, this is just procedure because the same thing happens with Visa or, you know, MasterCard or American Express. They collect the money first and then they turn it over to you. But I don't recall, you know, I used to own a small business some years ago, and I don't recall once I accepted a credit card that it took all this time for that money to hit your account.
That. I know better than that, man, Michelle. You know better than that.
I wasn't holding on to my money for no extended period of time.
Canoe? Come on, man. I bet you we get to the source of who were the major owners of Canoe and their association.
That's public knowledge.
You know, I even haven't checked. If I do a check, I'd only suck my teeth. If I do a little jokey check, I'll suck my teeth.
That is public
knowledge. To find out who have the majority of shares and whose business
and who they connected to.
Exactly. I don't have to use my imagination there.
Yeah.
Another thing that's bothering me too, Michelle, is something, you know, and I really don't get into people's business per se, okay? But a number of shares on Facebook right now are talking about 6 MPs right now, FNM MPs right now, that have palatial homes, not no average home, you know, palatial homes, okay? Dear Brother Travis Robinson has built a very palatial home in a very nice part of the island. Okay? We ain't gonna talk with Lakeisha, we ain't gonna talk with Shannon. Because Shannon, he been like castle on Eastern Road. That's a big boy. You see what I'm saying? Now, however they got their money, or however they were able to accomplish that task during a pandemic with their current salary, okay, you know, it's raising a lot of eyebrows. It's raising a lot of eyebrows. See, because, you know, I don't know. I'm gonna talk too much about that because I don't have any facts, and I don't know where anybody's account is looking.
Right.
But the caliber of homes that have been built by sitting MPs right now and 1 or 2 even are sitting MPs. I'm sorry, don't have a portfolio, I should say. Okay, it's raising a lot of eyebrows, Michelle.
Yeah, maybe
It's raising a lot of eyebrows.
maybe they
Not
have
getting into
some.
people's business, but
Maybe they
I'm talking about
maybe they have some good private investments going on somewhere.
boy, that's some awesome private investments, man. I need to consult that broker now. I'm very interested. Because the pandemic is a horrible thing to waste. Just ask Bezos and the rest of these billionaire guys who made almost half of their net assets just from last year and this year alone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these guys have built for themselves from what the eye can see, because you can't see any offshore accounts and the local accounts. They have built very, very palatial homes. The homes are worth in the millions. And they are $1.5 million homes. You understand what I'm saying? If you save every penny you had from you got in office, along with $100,000 you get for your constituency money, it still wouldn't be enough to accomplish that task. Unless you know someone by the bank. I mean, you really know someone by the bank. It's raising a lot of eyebrows, Michelle. Something ain't sitting right. Something ain't sitting right. And I'm glad you mentioned about that clip, the clip from Eyewitness News. There's a lot of skullduggery going on, man. A lot of misappropriated funds. A lot of stealing going on, man.
Allegedly,
of course. But this ain't looking right at all. This don't look good at all. He wrote the whole concept of transparency throughout the entire campaign and did the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
This is getting me annoyed right now, Michelle. I think I would hang up.
All right, thank you so much for calling. Here's the thing, man. I get that you support your party. For whatever reason you support your party. All power to you. But when I think we run ourselves into big problems when we refuse to acknowledge wrong just because, it is being done by people we support. That is very, 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 very shaky ground to be on for any nation, because that is the perfect breeding ground for corruption. When you know, or at least you strongly suspect that somebody's doing wrong, but you turn a blind eye because this just happens to be your particular gang. And then we wonder why we seen what we seen in our society. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Morning, Michelle. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you today?
Oh, pretty good, Thank God for life.
Amen.
Still having hope for the Bahamas that people like you and me and all of we can then see the light, and will make sure that the light shines on election day, whenever that may happen, and we vote both the PLP and the FNM out. Because in order for this Bahamas to heal and grow, both the FNM and the PLP truly got to go. And then we got to clean up the mess left behind. Michelle, you are essentially touching on something that I did speak to on Wednesday. I think it was when you had those two gentlemen on. But I want to expound on a little more. It is, in my opinion, it's a matter of national hypocrisy, political hypocrisy, and essentially corruption, in my view.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, I was upset on Wednesday, as you could have told.
It wouldn't have been Wednesday, because Wednesday,
Tuesday, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the hypocrisy in the government, the very government that has asked, pressured, commanded, demanded nonprofits to disclose monies above, say, maybe 35, 25,000, 75,000, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
It's the very same government that does not want to, and indeed refuses to disclose to the public who is funding their campaigns. Michelle, that is hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
Blatant hypocrisy. This issue that is being talked about today, Michelle, Dr. Minnis, in my humble opinion, never intended to be open with you and I, the Bahamian people. That's my opinion. Because on the campaign trail, he spoke the talk that he knew was the wave of the day.
That's what people wanted to hear.
Exactly.
They had hope that somebody was going to come and make a difference.
Exactly. But the moment he got in there, he started to go contrary to those things he said on the campaign trail. When that O'Brien deal was blown up, two things came out of that. One, blatant corruption. The Prime Minister was collaborating on air with somebody who was signing something illegally.
That was just a ceremonial signing.
Yeah, tell me, please.
That's
tell
the
me,
excuse
Michelle.
they come up with. That was only a ceremonial sign. But these fellas good, you know. They're good, you know.
So when the murderer kills, that's only a ceremonial murder then?
I guess so.
I thought crime was right and wrong was wrong. And see, the other thing about that O'Brien deal that bothered me then is how that the government this administration never sat down with the people in Freeport and talked with them prior to that deal. And that is one of the campaign promises they ran on, in that they would sit down and consult with communities before they would bring in any major projects, those anchor projects like everybody was against the PLP for the most part on. Now, you see, Mr. Christie, in my opinion, did a lot of wrong. And Mr. Christie, as a matter of fact, is the first sitting Prime Minister to be voted out of office because of the opinion of many Bahamian people that he did wrong. But Michelle, as bad as Mr. Christie was, and he was bad in many ways as Prime Minister, Dr. Minnis today is making Mr. Christie look like a rose.
My Lord.
Dr. Minnis, see, I don't remember Mr. Christie campaigning on transparency. He may have. I just don't remember it. But Dr. Minnis expressively, consistently campaigned on transparency, being open and honest to the Bahamian people with what they were doing with our business, and integrity. Doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do, no matter who your friends and families are. They campaign on all of those things. But Michelle, everywhere you and me and all of we look, we are seeing them going completely contrary to those truths that they campaigned on. So you tell me, Michelle, who's the one that looks the worst out of the two of them prime ministers? Christie or Minnis? Christie, I mean, Mr. Christie was a personable fellow, but sadly you can't. But Dr. Minnis can't even lay claim to being personable. He gets offended when the media that is doing its job asks him questions that the media is supposed to ask.
Well, there's a new day in this Bahamas as far as that is concerned. Because, you know, when I was coming up as a young reporter, that definitely was our job, to ask the tough questions. Nowadays, whenever they do call a press conference, they tell you could only ask 2 questions. You can't follow up on none of the questions what you ask, and then they dance all around the 2 questions what they allow you to ask and don't answer them, and you can't follow up. And that's what they call a press conference. These people are a bunch of clowns. I looking for I am looking for the what you call it, the master, what you call it, the ring master, because this got to be a circus. This got to be a circus. The ring master. This got to be a 3-ring circus.
Michelle, I am of the view, and this is my opinion, that based on how Dr. Minnis has behaved since he became since we gave him, the people gave him the authority to be Prime Minister, I am of the opinion that somebody's behind the scenes were pulling his strings. That's my opinion. I don't have any fact to bear that up. But from all indications, look at the situation with the bad situation when that letter came from Life at Key. Look how quickly.
If you blink, you would have missed it.
My God, shucks! I mean, me who is physically blind, if I shut my eye too quick, I'd miss it. Michelle, Dr. Minnis, in my humble opinion, and with no disrespect to him, has shown himself not to be a respectful leader of this country, because he has gone contrary to the principles of God, and he's gone contrary to everything he said that he stood for. I mean, when is it only right to stand up for people when you're in opposition, but you don't stand up for them when you're in government? When is that right, Michelle? And I'm alluding to the situation of what Paradise Island that flares up every now and then with the vendors on the beach.
Mm.
I mean, Michelle, all I can say is, my fellow Bahamian. Oh, the other thing too regarding this government, Michelle, if you have some time sometime soon, please, if you don't mind, look into this lands adjudication bill. Ingram tried to pass it. Dr. Minister tabled it, I think, but I don't know if it has been passed. In effect, this lands adjudication bill, if it was to pass, would take away your generational land holdings from you, your commonage lands holding from you and your family. If your family, for example, has 100 acres, but you cannot prove that that is your property, you stand the risk of losing virtually all of it to the real estate developers out there. And if you can prove that you've been squatting, quote unquote, squatting on your property, they say a piece of property, but I say your property, for 12 years or longer, that bill would only allow you to keep an acre and a half, Michelle, of your property. Your property. And I learned something in the last month or two that blew me away, that this land adjudication bill means that the adjudicator would be only one individual who would determine whether or not that land is yours. And if he or she determines that that land is yours, whether they've done it rightly or not, then the law swoops in, and the real estate developer can come in and claim that land, and they can take it and do whatever they want to do with it. That's my understanding. Now, I stand to be clarified and to be corrected, but that's my understanding of that lands adjudication bill. One of the most wicked pieces of legislation. Because, Michelle, if you got 100 or 1,000 acres of generation property, if you want that sit and smile in that God's sky for the rest of your life, that's your right and your business, eh?
Mm.
Nobody has no right to tell you what to do with your property. If you don't want to develop it, you don't want to develop it. So, Michelle, I don't know so much to say, but I just wanted to get my 2 cents in on those scores right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope someday, if I ever come across a copy of it anytime soon, I will endeavor to get a copy of it to you. But I would really like to see somebody really get that and expose that, because, Michelle, that thing is wicked. That has the potential of legally stealing, the birthright from virtually every Bahamian in this country, the typical Bahamian, that is.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I keep encouraging my fellow Bahamians, you God, please, my fellow Bahamians, come together as families, form a family holding company, get your family, your land business together, and go and put all of your property, your family generational property, in one family holding company, so nobody can come and take your property from you.
Mm.
But if you all keep out there hiding your documents under grandma mattress, and the generations afterwards don't know, and you're not fighting over who owning or who ain't getting piece of this and that, one day you're gonna wake up and nobody gonna have no land. Because if that law comes in, it can take everything away from you now.
Mm.
Thank you, Michelle. God bless you and have a great day.
Thank you so much for calling. Wow. Okay, let's take a quick break. And then when we come back, I do want to play that clip with the Attorney General talking about, we weren't trying to do anything underhanded. We just think people deserve their privacy when it comes to where this money was spent. We're gonna look at that clip on the other side of the break, and then talk about other items as well that made news this week. So stay with us. This is GPS on the TGIF Open Line Show. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
At Lee Air, safety is our number one priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Alive. Alive. Believe in best. And by Tropical Gyros. Not just good food, it's an experience. To GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. It's a TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, even though it's Friday the 13th. Yeah, I don't believe in all that superstitious crap. It's a good day. So we're going to celebrate in this day today. So this is an open line show where we invite you to give us a call and tell us what's on your mind. So the telephone number to call, 828-3543. 828-3543 is the number to call. And our text line, which I know is fully charged, but for some reason I can't get it to come on. So anyway, 828-2543. 828-2543 is the text line. And somebody who's more technologically savvy will come and figure out what I can't figure out how to get this to turn on. Okay, so anyway, getting back to this whole situation of not being able to find out where these millions of dollars gone. So Dwayne Sand says, well, it was kind of crazy, and we didn't get to, dot all our I's and cross all our T's, and maybe it just wasn't recorded where all this money was spent and who spent it and all this kind of stuff, right? That's what Dwayne Sand said. We were trying to source these PPEs, and we were trying to do this, and we were trying to do the next, and all that stuff, right? This is what he said. It's saying 100% charged, but for some reason I can't get it to turn on. So yeah, so that's what he said, and then we see where the Attorney General went to. Thank you, Marisha. Went to the Senate and pretty much said, well, we weren't trying to hide anything. It's just that, these business owners just, they have a right to their privacy. They have a right to their privacy. So just because we're spending millions of dollars of the public money with them, they have a right to privacy. Let's go to clip number 2.
Well, the Attorney General today also seeking to clarify why government did not produce the names of the beneficial owners of companies that were paid millions of dollars during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our Francesca Brown has that.
Attorney General Carl Bethel today defending the government's decision not to disclose the owners of companies that were paid millions of dollars for goods and services during the COVID-19 pandemic, telling senators today that the law protects the business owner's right to privacy. His comments came after the Auditor General Terence Bastian, in a recent audit, revealed that the government did not provide the names of the beneficial owners of the companies that were paid from the International Monetary Fund's $250 million loan. That loan was to address the COVID-19 pandemic.
To publish the information in light of the law as it stands today would amount to a breach of an individual's common law rights to privacy and confidentiality.
But Bethel says the law can be amended as early as tomorrow to give the Ministry of Finance the ability to disclose those names.
And I want to assure the Bahamian people today and the Ministry of Finance that it is capable of address and is being addressed, and the Ministry of Finance in very short order will be able to provide the necessary information consistent with its international obligations.
Meanwhile, Minister of State for Finance Kwesi Thompson says his government is doing what needs to be done to continue to be transparent and accountable.
The Beneficial Ownership Act, as the Attorney General said, is being adjusted to give the ability to disclose, and then the Public Procurement Act comes into effect, which also gives the obligation and the ability for the Ministry of Finance to also disclose in those circumstances. So, Madam President, we intend to, as the Attorney General said, we confirm with what he says, that adjustments will be made, and we intend to comply with our obligations and to comply with the law with respect to disclosure.
Senator Michael Dove will urge the Attorney General to adjust the regulations as soon as possible, as he says the public has a right to know how their money is being spent.
We on this side have a keen interest to know, and the Bahamian public have a keen interest to know who these beneficiaries or these individuals who receive these contracts. It's very important to us, and I believe that it's important to you as the government to demonstrate to the Bahamian people that there was no oversight of the law or there was no ill intent.
So what I don't understand is this. When they were signing onto this agreement with the IMF, they didn't know that it was a requirement for full disclosure. They didn't know that. Did they not know that a law, as the Attorney General pointed out, needed to be passed in order for them to be able to fully disclose where the public money is being spent? They didn't know all of that? They just finding this out now that the Auditor General's report has been released? I ask y'all again, if this was the other gang doing this very same thing, what would you be saying? Because one of the things that really bothers me with this crew is that they really believe like one set of laws apply to them and another set apply to everybody else. Case in point. You know, the PLP had a very bad reputation for victimization, right? But yet, when the Free National Movement victimizes people, they don't call it victimization. They say, well, the person just didn't fit into our program. When the PLP do it, it's victimization. When you do it, they just didn't fit into our program. Y'all gotta stop. OMG. But you know what this reminds me of? I might have told this joke on this show before, and if I did, forgive me for telling it again, but I think it's a good joke. So this man dies. And he goes up and finds himself before the pearly gates. And so they say to him when he gets to the gate, well, we don't see your name here, but tell you what, let's let you come in and check it out and see, you know, whether or not this is where you want to be. Now, obviously, this is not biblically based. It's just a joke. So he goes in and they allow him to walk into heaven. And, you know, they're the angels singing praises to the Lord and the harps and everybody just worshiping and, you know, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. And he says to himself, oh, this is all right. It's a little boring, but it's all right. So then they say, okay, now let's let you see the other place. So they go on the elevator, take him down. And he walks in, and when he gets into hell, man, they got a big party going on. All these beautiful women in bikinis, and everybody sipping on martinis, and the band licking off, and everybody, I mean, it's a party. He said, man, this more my spit. So they say, okay, which one do you choose? He say, I choose hell. They say, okay. So now they put him back on the elevator to go to the place that he has chosen to go. When the elevator door opened to hell, lone fire and brimstone, weeping and gnashing of teeth, torture, torture, torture. They say, welcome to hell. He say, hold on. What, this ain't what I see yesterday when I was here? We all the women with the bikinis and the martinis and the band licking off at a party. So the devil says to him, oh, you didn't know? Yesterday we was campaigning. Today you voted. You see, these fellas, and I mean, pretty much the Attorney General told us, you know, that we said anything on the campaign trail. You know, that's campaigning. They will say anything on the campaign trail to get you to vote for them. But after you vote, the reality of your selection becomes very, very real. Because how you could justify spending millions of dollars of the people's money and you can't tell me where it gone because y'all was just busy and it was hectic and you ain't cross your T's and dot your I's, or because these people deserve a right to privacy, but yeah, we did sign under this agreement, so we're going to have to quickly pass a law so that we could, you know, adhere to the agreement would be signed to be transparent, which we promised we was going to be when we was campaigning. Honestly, if somebody had written this in a book, you would say, oh man, this is just too far-fetched to even try to believe. You can't make it up. But this is the madness we living in. But again, there are different rules, you know, because when I do it, I could justify it. When you do it, it's corruption. But I got a reason for it. So you should accept my reason because I'm not corrupt. I just have a good reason. Boy, I tell you, you're all serious. Desmond says he should be, I think he's referring to the Attorney General, he should be the last one commenting because he resigned because of his own scandal as a minister. Sheldon says, and that is the reason why friends, partners, and colleagues fight to become MPs. There's no transparency or accountability, and it continuously occurs with the major parties. Yeah. Desmond says, because in 5 years, you will be a millionaire. And Destiny says, this is where the Freedom of Information Act comes in. Bahamians have constitutional rights to know. Yeah. All right. So Jamila says, Lady Malcolm, this is very disturbing to me that with all these legal minds in this country, no one is speaking up for our constitutional rights. They will defend the dolphins, the illegal immigrants, the humane society, even the pot cake is protected over the Bahamian people. Shake my head. Child, you're only second-class citizens in your own country. You're all fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth-class citizens in your own country. Everybody got rights, except y'all. Oh, I tell you. Betty taking it a step further. Betty says they tried to adjust the names and figures before the passing the act. I hope not, Betty. I really hope not. Ramel says, wow. Desmond say, we's the gunk. Child. But so the thing, Desmond, is some people like beating. They like that beating. They ain't complaining. And as long as their party in power, they'll pretend to beat and feel good. That's the problem in this country. Betty says, Michelle, you are so correct on this statement of the difference in victimization. Yes, when they do it, you didn't fit into their program. And I can speak from experience. Bertha says, Michelle, some of these payments blind like Stevie Wonder when it comes to their politics. Child, they only see what they want to see. They only see what they want to see. Claudette says, they are all the same. Peter ain't better than Paul. They are all crooked. I keep telling y'all, none of these big parties, none of them have no monopoly on corruption. Y'all believe the lie that one crew was better than the next. They just better at hiding it. And then when they get catch, backtracking and talking all kind of foolishness, but it was crazy. And y'all can't be serious. Because if any employee that you hired you with that foolishness, you could fire them before calling the police. Y'all ain't serious? Y'all think we stupid? I'm so tired of this. Gifted says the Bahamas is not a real place. And Bertha says, I want this government to lose this election so I can listen to F&M cronies complain. This was the worst government ever in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, yet still these cronies don't see no wrong. I'm waiting patiently on them. And Jamila says, truth is stranger than fiction. That is true. That is true. I just think that we as a collective have to understand that we really do have the power. We just put these people in these positions and then they act like they are king over us and queen over us, and we supposed to just bow down and take whatever they're giving us. And we seem to be forgetting all the time that they are our employees. They're working for us, not the other way around. We hire them. And I don't know how many of you out there are business owners, but how many of y'all who own a business let your employees run you? Bunch of foolishness. Oh, I tell you, Betty says, I hope to live to see them do the bank lane shuffle. Well, they started it. I wouldn't be surprised if the next party, if they don't win, the next party that gets into power will continue what they started. I think they open a can of worms with that one. Destiny says, we are their boss. Yes, we are, but we just don't know it. We just don't seem to understand that we are the boss. Jamila says they are protecting each other. They are partners in crime. So Tanisha says, I really want to know where did the $1.4 million given to Menace the Bahamian government went from the USA, which was given to help fight corruption. All right, I'm not sure exactly what you're saying there, Tanisha. Cheryl says, can we launch our own independent commission of inquiry? I do not know, but that's a very good question. I think we need to get a lawyer to answer that. All right, and Desmond says, please don't put these yellow or red people back in power, please. Well, my thing is just however you vote, obviously that's a personal choice, but I really would like to encourage us to stop voting just by color and vote for the individual that is before you, who you think has a true heart for the Bahamas and has some kind of a concept of where they want to see this nation go. Because if you just continue to vote color, then you can just keep getting the same thing over and over again. And, they say the definition of madness is to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's exactly what we are very guilty of in this country. We keep doing the same thing over and over again, and then we stand there with our mouth drop open that the result isn't changed. Like, that don't make no sense. Are we going to continue to be slave to tradition while we look all around us and see the degradation, but because of tradition, we can stick with that? I don't know. To me, that don't make no sense. But, it's just me and my little opinion. This is an opinion show, once again, so I'm allowed to give my opinion on this show. But to me, that doesn't make any sense. X-Man says, good day, Michelle. Either they returned every dime or we sending all of them to prison. And Tanisha says, it's on the Bahamas U.S. Embassy page. The United States gave Menace, upon winning, $1.4 million to help fight corruption in the government. Where did this money go? What happened? I do not know. Destiny says, where there's no vision, the people will punish. It's actually perish. That's what the Bible says. Where there's no vision, the people perish. Or cast off restraint is another translation. And Jamila says, if Dr. Minnis does not win his constituency, but the FNM has the most seats, will Dr. Minnis still be prime minister? I'm not sure. I think he could be appointed to the Senate. They would have a leader of government in the House of Assembly. I'm not sure. I don't want to give out incorrect information. Cheryl says no. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to continue talking about stories that made headlines this week. And so we want you to stay tuned. This is GPS.
Looking for an extraordinary junior high school with caring, qualified staff and affordable tuition? Then come visit us at Elite School of Excellence, an affiliate of First Step Academy. ABECA-focused and Ministry of Education approved, we foster discipline, integrity, and wisdom while molding our students for success. Call us at 341-8846 or stop by First Step Academy Schools on Fire Trail and Soldy Roads for more information.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Escape from the city life to Bacon Air Beach Resort in Pirateswell, Mayaguana. Relax in one of 16 air-conditioned rooms just steps away from the ocean. Enjoy scrumptious dishes in our waterfront dining room. Sip on a tropical cocktail, or if you must, stay connected with wireless internet. Nestled on one of the most beautiful beaches in the Bahamas, Bacon Air Beach Resort offers a unique vacation experience. For reservations, call 339-3726 or 463-0182. This portion of GPS is brought to you by Easy Car Sales, home of the electric vehicle. Visit easy242.com and free yourself from gas. And by Crystal Clear H2O Alkaline Water. Come visit us in our new location in the Jams Plaza on East Street South. We are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. And as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company on this Friday, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Open line show. And those of you who are regulars here know that every Friday we open the lines for you to, tell us what's going on and what's on your mind, and talking specifically about the headline stories of the week prior. We have quite a few people chiming in on the question that Jamila asked about whether or not you have to be elected to parliament in order to be prime minister. And Betty says the leader and the minister of finance must be elected members of parliament. All right, gotcha. Rose says you have to be an elected member of parliament in order to hold the post as prime minister. Good afternoon, Bahamas. And Linda is asking the question, do people punish or perish? Man, this is so different. Well, the Bible says where there is no vision, the people perish. That's the word that the Bible uses. But if you perish, then I think you will be punishing if you're perishing. But the word actually says that where there is no vision, the people perish, or cast off restraint. Okay, so let me read a couple of your texts. Hold on. So this one says, Michelle, here is a quote specifically for the men in cabinet and all in our parliament who allow the PM to make a mockery of our democracy. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. This is so. Another text says, how you allow thousands of people to enter and depart your country with controls in place that is not 100% secure. We still don't know for sure how this COVID-19 spreads. Okay, so another text says this vaccine. Wait a minute. It says, good morning, Michelle. I think they know about nutrition. They're just a part of the globalist. Oh, that was from yesterday. So this one from today says, this vaccine is a precursor to the mark of the beast. It's amazing how many preachers pushing the vaccine for convenience to travel and to believe the world is going back to normal. Woe to these preachers. They are not preaching about the coming of Jesus Christ, but they are preaching taking the vaccine. Well, you know, you say it's a precursor. I believe that it's I don't know if I would use the word precursor, but it's sort of conditioning. But I have seen several video clips that people have sent to me within the past week of different news agencies reporting that the Pentagon in the United States is now working on, I don't want to say a chip, because some people are arguing it's not a chip, but it's a different material that it's made from. But they are working on something that you inject under the skin. This was just in the news this past week, I think. The Pentagon is working on something that you inject under the skin that will detect whether or not you have a virus in your body. So their argument is this is the way for you to tell early on if you've contracted COVID, so that you could then isolate yourself if come to find out you may be asymptomatic. But if you implant this thing under your skin, then it will be able to read the systems in your body. Now, they're saying it's not going to be used to store any information about you or anything like that. It's not going to be used for that. But what it will be used for is to detect whether or not there's a virus in your body. So why is the Pentagon the entity that's come up with this? Why didn't this come from some science lab, some medical doctors? Why does this come from the Pentagon? I just wondering. Just wondering. The Pentagon is developing something that you put in your body. You really can't make this stuff up. A lot of what we see happening now with this whole coronavirus madness, 6 months ago when people were warning that certain of these things would happen, they were labeled as conspiracy theorists. But a lot of the stuff that conspiracy theorists have been saying is now reality. Are they still conspiracy theorists? Are they still conspiracy theories? Just wondering. Because now we're talking about injecting something under your skin so that you could tell whether or not you have a virus. Where does it end? Are all of these things connected? Are we living in the days of revelation? My personal opinion, and again, this is an opinion show, is that if you don't see what's going on here, you really don't want to see it. Now, the Bible does talk about, people being spiritually blind to some things. And so some people just really can't see it because they're not spiritually minded. So they can't discern what's going on. It's like a scale over their eyes. But that shouldn't apply to everybody. So I understand why the majority of people who have taken the vaccine took it because they don't want to die. They want to live. And they're being told that this is the only way out of this pandemic, even though if you really understand science, you'll know that can't be true. And they're seeing their friends and their loved ones die, especially with this Delta variant, and people are scared. I get it. People don't want to die, and especially not in that manner. I just continue to say, though, that, I think there's something wrong when we are only hearing one message as it relates to how to get out of this and ignoring everything else that could help us to get out of this. Outright ignoring. There's something wrong there. There's something wrong there. Now, again, call me a conspiracy theorist as much as you want, but we heard Hubert Alexander Minnis say out his own mouth, the video has been circulating, I've seen it a million times, that Bahamians need to realize that we are living in a world of the New World Order. He said that. I'm sure you've seen the video. It's made its rounds. And that we are living in a global environment and, So he don't tell you what the time is. He don't tell you that. Out his own mouth. So why you acting like people who suggest that there is some kind of global agenda are crazy? Why? But you're just a conspiracy theorist. And when you are labeled a conspiracy theorist, no matter what you say, whether it makes sense or not, it's going to be dismissed as a conspiracy theory. Even if in the face of the evidence that you're saying now, that some of the very things these conspiracy theorists are warning about are now reality, they still are nothing more than conspiracy theorists. Because you refuse to acknowledge truth. This whole situation that we find ourselves in is an excellent study for sociology, I think. Any of y'all who want to do a doctorate, a thesis, I think this is an excellent study on sociology, on how you can manipulate the masses to think the way you want them to think. Excellent study. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Thanks for having me, and Michelle. Michelle, I don't really problem with the Prime Minister and him feeling pressured or getting his mandate has been handed out to every leader who signed up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with that, but it's the way you do things. Okay, if he felt pressured to obey the guidelines set, then you have ways and means of following the mandate. You use discretion. Okay. I mentioned in the show before how a lot of slaves they don't really want to free themselves and their brothers and sisters. They want an opportunity to hold the whip, and that's the attitude that our Prime Minister has. I mean, he's so callous. He's very cold. He seems to be working with the rich investors, foreign investors that have big businesses in this country, and that's it. He's forgotten about the middle class, every class of being. Okay, he's dealt with us with a closed fist, and he's just boxing away. He has no regard for anybody. I'm wondering where he's from. There's a lot of turmoil in the F&M camp. You have people that like C. Allen mentioned yesterday, they don't have any solid skill set that's going to allow them to dodge all the economic curveballs that are thrown to all the agents now since last year and this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore they're just saying yes to bossa, and following directions because that's daddy got the money. They know the money is. Anyway, I have no proof to substantiate what I'm saying, but they know where the money is coming from. I mean, they know where the money is not obtained by legal means, and they know who the money belongs to too.
Mm-hmm. But
they have nothing to say. Okay, we are at the precipice of a time frame that you got the words, the WTO, that's going to change everything about what we know and how we know custom operates when it comes around to all goods imported in this country and how that relates to being an entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the job sourcing to foreigners who will be able to bid on jobs that Bahamians should have first preference to. There's a lot of variables right now. There are a lot of things up in there that we're unaware of. But it's happening behind the curtain. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to tell us. There's a lot of things going on, Michelle.
Yeah, a lot.
Okay, I'm taking up the brokerage course. Okay,
taking up the what?
The brokerage course.
Okay.
Okay, and there's material in there that incorporates the new policies that are be set by the World Trade Organization.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, Michelle, it's scary. It's very, very scary. There's some other things I don't want to mention. Listen to me. This guy, he's a problem. Like I said, it's one thing to follow the mandate that we signed up for. Who signed us on? I don't know. I don't know if we had a choice in the matter, actually. Okay. But the fact of the matter is that he could have done things a lot differently, sorry. A big, big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned a few moments ago, just the way he deals with the press. That's the biggest slap in the face of the people along. The press has a job to do. You're only allowed to answer certain questions. Chavez, one of the reporters, I'm sure he does not like to address the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has put him in his place so much. I got to know Chavez not because of his being a reporter or him being good in his job. It's the amount of times that Dr. Menes has insulted him on TV. That's how I got to know Chavez. And that is a very sad state of affairs, Michelle.
He reminds me of Trump. Y'all know very well I was not a fan of Trump, right? Because some argue that Trump is being used by God. I that don't mean I gotta like him. But one of the problems that I had with Trump is his treatment of members of the press, especially people of color. He was outright rude. I remember on the lawn of the White House one afternoon, and a black female reporter asked him a simple, just a regular question that he obviously was pissed off that she asked. And his response was, "That's a stupid question. That's a stupid question. But you ask a lot of stupid questions."
Now, that's a very interesting observation you made, Michelle. I don't think you actually got to agree with me when I say what I say, but you may see the reasoning behind it. Trump, as we all know, comes from a racial background. His mother and father were a positive plan. They took pictures of them as a family in a family portrait when he was a baby in their full regalia. However, growing up, observed by Trump, he's hanging with a lot of black people. Black dignitaries, you name it. Just growing up in primary school and high school. I was seeing him on BET, just rap videos and whatnot. Okay? Trump been around long enough to understand just how black people are, what kind of people we really are. and he gravitated toward us. That left him in a paradox. But this is my humble observations. And his supporters were part of the neo-Nazis, the Klan, or whatever the case is, the Aryan Brotherhood, whatever the case is. Those are the ones that helped him on his journey to the presidency. All right, so he had people he had to represent, even though he didn't want to represent them, to tell you the truth. And that's why he took a neutral stand when it came on to all the protests and the Black Lives Matters, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. But I'll tell you this. The reason why I respect Donald Trump, because I respect real Michelle. That's one of the reasons why I listen to your show. But you know what Trump did? Trump, in 2019, stood up in front of the UN Council, and he told them straight up, and you wonder why all the leaders couldn't stand Donald Trump. Here's the reason, and I can send you the video if you like. He said to the UN Council, he said that this world is not for the globalists, but the patriots who live and die for their country. In other words, he was telling the UN Council, World Trade Organization, World Health Organization, and all the members of this new world regime that America will not partake in your rhetoric. We're not going to support you. And he left, he backed America out of the World Health Organization and the World Health Trade Organization after that. That's a stand he took. He basically gave them the finger. Afterwards, it was all at war on America. The UN Spokesman Council came out and said, threatened America. I think it was November of 2019. And he said that America and the Donald Trump and the U.S. government are threats to our progress. Don't worry. His almost exact words, Michelle. You can double check if you don't believe me. He said in 2020, a pandemic will be released and will cripple America's economy, bringing them to their knees. Those were just about his exact words almost. You can double check that. Or
who made that statement?
The spokesman for the UN Council.
Okay.
He said that. He said on his own lips.
I can believe
I've seen the video too many times to even count. That is the situation with Trump. Trump realized, and what the reporters do, they ask him curveball questions. So they knew the answer too, but they try to trip him up. The entire world was against Donald Trump because he basically gave the guys who were in charge, the select few, who were sponsoring this one world order foolishness, he just basically gave them the middle finger and said no. See, Trump is old school. Trump is old school. The whole narrative with the cross dressing and this and that, and he's not about that. He's not about that. That's why his chief advisors were Baptist for Trump, Catholic for Trump, Muslim for Trump. If you really look at the way Trump did things, when Christians were getting terrorized in China and whatnot, Trump dashed over there and he tried to get the government to ease up, try to make amends. Even the ex-president of South Korea, I forget his full name. He died. He basically had a finger on the trigger.
Yeah.
And so did Trump.
Mm-hmm.
But he ran over there, man, and then the two psychopaths, they would see eye to eye.
But you know what, though I found so hypocritical, because when Obama was in power and Obama opened conversation, then Fox News and others were, you never negotiate with a tyrant, you never negotiate with a communist, you never negotiate. And then when Trump did the same thing, he's pursuing peace. And anyway, listen, I'm not saying that he wasn't used by God, but that doesn't mean I gotta like him. I
understand.
God
completely.
used a donkey in the Bible to speak his message.
Who was one of the most influential apostles of all time in the New Testament?
Paul.
Who? Exactly. Who was his name before?
Saul.
What did Saul do? Persecute Christians.
Complicit to murder.
Persecute God's people.
Yeah.
His whole endeavor, his whole focus in life was to pursue God's people, and look what happened.
God could use
I'm not
whoever you
saying-
want to use. God could use whoever
I'm
you
not
want
saying
to
he
use.
used Trump now.
But
I never said he
I
used
gotta
Trump.
like him. I am sorry. I had some major issues with Trump in terms of his. Anyway, we ain't going there today.
The list goes on and on. Anyway.
Yeah.
But you get my point, though, Michelle.
I
You
understand.
get my point.
I understand
Okay.
very well. I understand.
You take care, Michelle. Always a pleasure.
Thanks so much for calling. Listen, I have some really very good friends out of the United States who are Trumpsters 1,000%, and we have just agreed that we don't discuss Trump. We don't. One of my very, very, very dear friends, close friend. This man, you don't say nothing about Trump to him. And he and I, this is one of my dearest friends. And I said to him one day, I said, you know what? I love you as a friend. And Donald Trump ain't with our friendship. So we are going to agree today that this is a topic we will no longer discuss. We will not discuss Donald Trump because I love you too much. And I could done see this could cause our friendship to fall out. And he ain't with that. I love you as a friend and I want to maintain our friendship so we ain't talking about Trump no more. He says, whatever, Michelle. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
Yes, and good morning to the faithful listeners of GPS Live or nothing. You know, Michelle, and that was a great caller, the last caller. In fact, all of your participants are amazing people. He just loves them. The Most High don't lie. He can't lie. Okay? Truth is mighty and will prevail. Okay? Latin for what I just said is in one word is veritas. Bahamas, unite in this next election for our lives' sake, for our children's lives' sake, our neighbors' lives' sake. Be born. Be born in one Latin word is oriendus. The concept of justice and equity, Michelle, is foreign to those who have the degree as relates to law. Okay? Law. Love always wins. L is for love, A is for always, and W is for win. We have not win. The Bahamian people have not won or win or won anything as relates to the law in respect to our fundamental rights and freedoms of the individuals. And that's why I attacked the beast, the enemy, the darkness, the gross darkness, the darkness that covers the earth, that's your COVID-19. Okay? Your gross darkness that covers the people of the earth is the political system that Amos Jr. Miller have died for. So whenever they're ready to kill me, it's global now. Okay? So I am saying then today to the people of Yahweh house, see, darkness covers the earth and thick darkness covers the people. Tell them that's only half of that particular story. Let me tell you the other 50% of that story right there, how that ends. But Yahweh, the Lord, Yahweh, rises upon you and his glory appears over you. And I just added daily. From the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, this voice is universal. You know why? Because I trust every last word the scripture taught me. I don't care what my word is today. You see where that word and that degree has brought us? Your degree ain't bigger than the Constitution. And I'm talking about the doctor degree, the lawyer degree, the accounting degree, the businessman, entrepreneurial prowess is not greater than our Constitution. I spoke with the Minister of Tourism. In fact, he sent me an email at 3:40 something this morning. I spoke with him around 9 something, 8 something, 9, whatever time it was. So I'm here to say to him, you know what you told me as relates to Atlantis is not budging. No, I don't want you to say Atlantis is not budging. I want you to say the foreign entity in my Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Brookfield Hospitality Management, and all of the Atlantis subsidiaries, and listen to me, I talking on every fair, on every tier, every subsidiary. You're going to hear the voice of thunder until the day I die. For what I believe, I don't care about what y'all believe, it's what this fool, it's what this crazy Bahamian, and all of those other people who y'all think crazy, who's going to take something that the people were making it, will not stand by it. You're calling me crazy in my face and in the face of my children. You're telling me I said J-A in the front of my children. J-A stands for Ja. And listen, we know how the J was introduced into the English language. Before there was a J, there was a letter called I.
Okay, Amos, you all over the place.
I said all that to say this because, you know, I said, let me stay focused.
Please.
Michelle, okay. Michelle, Bahamas. No one is greater than God. No human. No artificial intelligence. And I want to tell all of those so I just simply came to tell all the artificial intelligence makers, you're who smart like that, who could create that and beyond the future as relates to your humanity intelligence is superior. HIS. Never forget what I just tell you all. There is no artificial intelligence in my mind more greater than Michelle's mind. No more greater than C. Allen Johnson mind. You all hear me? S&M, Cabinet, are you all here? PLP, official opposition leader. I remember the rest because the Constitution don't speak to y'all yet. Now, if the people decide to vote y'all in, what I'll express is what I desire from the core of my heart. That's why my mouth speak. Michelle speak from the core of her heart. And listen to me. No one could influence me. Nobody could influence me to leave Yahweh word. No, I said I already did. I already tell everybody bye because of the corruption, the treason. We beyond corruption. We are at the point of treason.
Okay, my Amos, I gave you a long.
I gone. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh Lord have mercy. Okay, yeah, I need a break after that because well, y'all should see Marisha's face. Gifted say, Michelle Malcolm, your face is priceless. You should see Marisha's face. We're going to take a break. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons.
With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks.
We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by
Classic Formal Wear, the place where you can find everything you need for that special occasion.
And by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. GPS in this final segment of our TGIF Open Line show today. The telephone number to call is 828-3543, 828-3543, and the text line is 828-2543, 828-2543. Speaking of a text, I have one that is taking issue with the caller prior to Amos, and this person says, Michelle, that's a problem right there with your caller. Black Bahamians who worship white supremacists like Trump, complete fools. That's why we are where we are. We don't know history and facts. All right. So I want to go to clip number, what would that be? Clip number 3, because this week the United States of America made good on its promise to donate a sizable amount of vaccines to the Bahamas, over 100,000 Pfizer vaccines were donated by the U.S. government to the government of the Bahamas to help in its fight against the pandemic. Let's go to clip number 3.
These vaccines will buttress the vaccines that are already in the Bahamas, will provide enough for Bahamians to achieve herd immunity so we can finally get through this thing.
With America's generous donation of over 128,000 doses of Pfizer, health officials are expecting to achieve herd immunity by Christmas. This first batch of an almost 400,000 dose commitment by the U.S. will not only offer residents an alternative to AstraZeneca, but will also address the growing demand for the jab, and according to the nation's leader, eventually ease the burden being carried by the healthcare system.
You do not have any time to wait any longer. You do not have time to keep thinking about it. The hospitals are full to its limit. Sadly, some of our people are dying, and taking the shots will save your life. Not taking them can cost you your life.
Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis says its phased rollout will begin as early as Monday, August 16th.
The Pfizer vaccine will be available to adults and children 12 to 17 years of age with the consent of their parents or a guardian. In the coming days, details will be released on the rollout of the Pfizer vaccine and scheduling for New Providence, Grand Bahama, and the Family Islands.
U.S. Charge Day Affairs Yusha Pitts urging Bahamians to help with ending the emergency phase.
The problem here in the Bahamas is the vaccine hesitancy. So please, for the love of God, get vaccinated. Excuses are over. There's plenty of supply, there's plenty of choice. If you won't do it for yourself, do it for your Grammy. And if you won't do it for your Grammy, do it for your country.
We took to the streets today to ask residents if they will be more inclined to take the vaccine now that we have another choice other than the AstraZeneca.
But I'm not going to jump and take. I don't care what they bring. I can use my natural remedies or whatever medicines I need to take or whatever to keep my immune system up. I'm not taking no vaccine.
I definitely would take that. It doesn't matter to me. Once I learned from a learned friend who does their own research and who all are scientists as well too, most definitely I would take it.
I don't feel like it's a need and importance for the vaccine. I feel like it's just being published now for money and funds.
When asked what was his stance on whether or not Bahamians will have the option to choose which vaccine they receive, Dr. Minnis had this to say.
I only want to live. Next question. Thank you very much.
No word yet on when the second tranche will arrive. However, U.S. officials say they will ensure there isn't a lag in Pfizer's rollout.
Let me just read some of your comments. Romel says, don't take them, people run. Gifted says, when I heard this speech, all I thought was, this is farewell, sir. So long, bye-bye. And Desmond says, why in the world would anyone believe this man? Tell me why. Bertha says, wow, taking the shot will save your life, but yet it's killing some people. Jamila says, how about we don't want to? The comments are coming in fast and furious. Gifted says, wow, see, he only want to live, that dude. Jamila says, this is criminal. Desmond says, no such thing as herd immunity because it's not a vaccine. And Lily says, you will soon hear them saying it will soon be mandatory. It's a joke. I only want to live, the minister says. Where is your heart? But, he did say that they're not going to make it mandatory. So you're not going to hear the word mandatory, but they're going to make it real uncomfortable for you to continue to say no. You all know my stance on this. We do have a lot of people who are dying. A lot of families are being impacted by this, what they believe to be Delta variant, that they believe may be in country. Still waiting for confirmation on that. But I dare say that a major component is, once again, the immune system and the level of health of people's immune systems. And yes, the Delta variant is much more virulent, much more dangerous than the previous mutations. But you still have to protect your immune system, with or without a vaccine. With or without a vaccine. You still need to stop eating inflammatory foods that are making your body more susceptible to COVID. You still got to do those things. And my biggest peeve as it relates to this whole effort by our authorities is that even when you question them directly on what can people do to protect themselves, you're only hearing two things. Follow the guidelines in terms of social distancing, wearing masks and washing your hands, and take the vaccine. That is all you are hearing. And that is just wrong. It's either they know better and they are intentionally keeping this information from you, or they just don't know any better and are only promoting what they know and understand. But the bottom line is you have to take better care of your bodies. I was watching the Midnight Cry last night with Benjamin Smith. And I thought, my God, I mean, he said some things that needed to be said and should be preached from every doggone pulpit in this country. And one of the things that he was basically saying is that, you know, we need to take better care of the bodies that God gave us. We need to be better stewards of the bodies that God gave us. We need to eat healthier. We need to stop eating garbage. We need to take better care of our bodies. We need to protect our immune systems. We need, you know, I was like, why are we not hearing more of this from the pulpit? We have pastors who are encouraging people to be vaccinated, but they're not encouraging them to stop eating fried food. Because quite frankly, you go to the church event and everything fried at the church event. Not encouraging them to make lifestyle changes, but you're encouraging them to take a vaccine. Anyway, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Michelle, this is Amos. I'm sorry for calling back.
Amos, don't run on.
No. I don't even take me 30 seconds. But the point is, see, you're talking about the Bahamian people life. I happens to be one of those people. I have 3 children. I need them to comprehend. God did not intend for me or you, Michelle, to live on this earth by ourselves. He put other people here for us to live with, whether you like me or I like you or not. It ain't your world alone or my world alone. Now, I have just really called back to say something to the media of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The 4th estate, the 5th power. Do your doggone job, okay? It's about time you start raising hell on these 2 major parties for the burden they continue to lie and heap on the Bahamian people back, and you keep letting it slide. And when I say the media, especially your lawyers who know what I'm talking about to be correct, the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Stop operating media in the spirit of error. Either you speak truth or you are operating in error. I ain't calling no one no liar. Okay. You will decide. Okay. Good day, Michelle.
Yeah, 30 seconds up. All right. I just want to say that this coming Wednesday of next week, I'm very happy to reveal that Dr. Robert Malone will once again be a guest on my show. And for those of you who don't know who Dr. Robert Malone is, he is the inventor of the mRNA technology that was the precursor to what is now being used in the mRNA vaccines, like Pfizer, which we now have in country in large quantities. And as the founder, or I shouldn't say founder, as the inventor of this technology, he has some concerns about the manner in which it is being used in these vaccines. And he is sounding the alarm. Now, of course, when anybody, no matter what credentials they have, stands up against the global narrative, they are attacked. And he is being attacked left, right, and center for making his views known from a scientific perspective. You know, and that's what tells me that there is more to this situation than meets the eye, because it's one thing for them to come after me and say, what do you know? You're not a scientist. You're not a doctor. You know, you hear spewing your opinion. What do you know? Okay, fine. I'm just, you know, a little health coach, little certification. But, you know, what do I know? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. But when you see doctors and scientists coming forward and they still go for the jugular. Wait a minute now. You said I didn't have a right to say what I had to say because I don't have the credentials behind my name. I don't have the MD or I don't have the scientist behind my name. So now you got people who have that behind their name and you still going for the jugular? Something ain't right here. Why are you not listening to these people? You can't say the man is an anti-vaxxer That's like Gerd van den Bosch. The man helped to create vaccines, worked for Gavi, worked for Gates, worked for other pharmaceutical companies that have created vaccines. And now he is being, all attempts are to discredit him. On what grounds? You can't say he's an anti-vaxxer. My God, he develops vaccines. On what grounds? The only grounds upon which they are trying to discredit these people is that they dare to come out with a narrative other than the global narrative. Any doctor or scientist today who comes out with a narrative other than the global narrative is being attacked, which could explain why many of them are afraid to come out and say what they believe, because they just don't want to be attacked. And so I reached out to Dr. Malone, and I was so happy when he agreed. He said next week, Wednesday, the 18th of August, he will be back on the show. Please tune into that show. Get everyone you know to tune into that show, because Pfizer is here. And Pfizer is one of the vaccines that uses mRNA technology. And the gentleman who will be live, not some recordings I found online, but live here on the show, is the inventor of the mRNA technology. He's going to be on the show on Wednesday. And we are specifically going to be talking about the Delta variant and other mutations that are expected to come along, and the efficacy of the vaccines, considering that this virus will continue to mutate. Again, this man is the inventor of the mRNA technology. Inventor. So, whether or not you choose to listen to me, well, somebody actually said to me, why should I listen to you? You're just a talk show host. Okay. Well, what you going to do with this man? What you going to do with him? How you could dismiss what he's saying? You can't call him an anti-vaxxer. You can't call him a conspiracy theorist. You can call him a scientist. What you going to do with him? We have a caller on the line. Last call for the day. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Michelle, I have one question to ask. You're bringing him on as a guest. Would he be accepting questions?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, of course he will be. Just like any other guest on the show.
Okay, because he's going to have to answer some very tough questions.
Well, he's well qualified to do so. He's well qualified to do so. The man don't have to be nervous about anything. He knows what he knows.
I have a question for you, Michelle. Mm-hmm. I know you're going to sign off. Sorry to interrupt, but is he a pro-vaxxer or anti-vaxxer? Where does this stand exactly?
He is a scientist.
Okay, well, a lot of scientists now...
Let me explain. He has taken the vaccine. But now he realized, okay, first of all, he contracted COVID. Mm-hmm. And he had what they call long haulers COVID. He couldn't get over it. And so the doctors advised him to take the vaccine as a means to help him to get over COVID. And he will tell his own story. It made it worse. And so all of this time later, he's still not fully over what the vaccine did to his body.
Okay. I'll tune into the show for sure.
So you can't call him an anti-vaxxer. You can't call him a conspiracy theorist. Mm-hmm. What you gonna do with this man? And keep in mind what he accomplished at the age of 28. Today he's 61, I think. At the age of 28, he spearheaded the team that invented the mRNA technology. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. What you gonna do with him?
The aborted fetus technology.
Pardon me?
The aborted fetus technology.
Yeah, but yet you got these people who, it's interesting how when somebody comes up with a narrative and then all of a sudden you have these fact checkers. But who checks the fact checkers? Like, who are these fact checkers?
Exactly my point.
Who are they? Who checks them?
and it's all intertwined, Michelle. Because, like, for example, I'm in Facebook jail right now for a month because I shared a clip from OAN News Network with our government data concerning the vaccine and its side effects for the people who've taken it.
Well, I'm in YouTube jail this week. They banned me for a week, and it wasn't even a vaccine show. Something that was said on the show on Tuesday with Stone McEwen and Samuel Strong. I don't even remember what was said, but they banned me for a week. I was like, well, blow me down. These people.
But you go on YouTube and you could have a tutorial on how to make a homemade bomb.
Can you imagine? Listen, man, it's 1:00. I got to get out of here.
I'll be tuning into your show.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. But don't miss any show. But Wednesday, call all your family and your friends and tell them to tune into GPS next week, Wednesday. Because you can't discredit this man, much as they trying. And he has some serious concerns about the way the technology that he invented is being used. So this ain't nothing but my opinion. This is a man who needs to be listened to. And I'm very grateful that he's agreed to come back on the show again next week. So we're going to have some good shows next week, y'all. We're going to have some good shows next week. I'm looking forward to a wonderful week. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you always for joining me on GPS. I really do love y'all, and I thank you for your support. And I want you to have a safe weekend. Please, people, be safe. Don't do anything foolish because COVID is real. It's out there, and you don't need to be dying from that. All right? So be safe. Take care. Have a good weekend, everybody.